I was born in Uganda, capital city, Kampala. My dad was a lecturer at the university, so we lived in the main university. My mum was an agricultural teacher, passionate farmer, so she taught basically teachers who taught agriculture. So she was a teacher training college, and she was specialized in teaching agriculture. Our upbringing was not, I would say, a million miles away from basically living on a farm, because Mum was constantly traveling to farms, taking us with her. And how this relates to what we're doing is back in 2012, I think it was, Jason and I went to Uganda, and my family, specifically my mom and my younger brother, had bought a piece of land in a small town north of Kampala called Matugga. Now, I hadn't seen this piece of land, so they took us to visit it, and it was really one of the most breathtaking pieces of land I've ever been to. It was so green and lush, and my mum had already started farming. She was growing maize on the farm. And so my brother was telling us about the land, about the story about how they bought it, and he happened to mention that it used to be a sugarcane plantation. So this was pre-1970s. It was owned by an Indian-Ugandan family, and in the 70s they had to leave, unfortunately. And the farm was handed over to other farmers, Ugandan farmers, but the equipment had never been used, so it had gone redundant. But you know, he says to me, the equipment was still here when we bought it. This was sort of early 2000s. And so Jason and I looked at each other, because at the time we were thinking we want to set up an African spirits brand, because we'd looked around and there were no brands representing the African continent in any spirit category, be it whiskey or rum or brandy or even vodkas, and it just seemed very strange. So we'd already been talking about it, and so when my brother mentioned this, it felt like serendipity. It felt like something was telling us, yes, you need to get on and do this. And so we had this grand idea about setting up a distillery in Uganda on our land and turning this land back into sugarcane farm, so we came back to London, and we quickly realized we knew nothing about rum making or running a rum business. So we decided that we're going to do it maybe slightly differently and sort of build up to having our own distillery and eventually our own sugarcane farm. So it's been if you like, a staged project as we get more knowledge and more experience and build our brands to get to where we are. And I'll let Jason take over from that point.